2. All right. I really, 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 really hope this works. Cheers, everybody. Hopefully, this stream goes well. For those of you who are wondering what I'm drinking today, it is Baltica. See if it's any good. I've never actually had this beer yet. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, that's very good. Never thought I'd actually like a Russian beer. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do... And we're going to be doing these alphabetical. Now, there is a small chance that Alabama loses a district. So we're going to actually do 2. And that looks all good. And I'll go through the maps later. Actually, that's maybe a good question. Alright, let's do that. And we're going to start with Alabama. We'll see how many we get through, to be quite honest. I want to do a test. Basically, the goal is I want to see what is the most democratic data set. Because at the end of the day, what we're talking about is a situation where I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Okay, let's do partisan lean. Obviously, Alabama is really, really Republican, and I'm going to pull up where the current districts are just to make sure that I'm keeping everything relatively close to where they are geographically. There we go. And I want to look at a map. There we are. Cool. And I'm going to pull up... Oh, never mind. Composite is all we have, so... Oops. That really doesn't help. I'd really like Dave's Redistricting, the people who make this app. I would really like them to add as many data sets as they can get, maybe even for House elections. Actually, that's a very good question. Yeah, I figured Birmingham would be pretty blue. It's a little less red. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So obviously the first district is down here. And the Mobile area has definitely grown in population, methinks. Yeah, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be following what the actual rules are. That county is all within. That county is all within, and we're actually over. So yeah, this Mobile area has definitely grown. And one thing I need to make sure I do is I actually need to turn those district lines on. I'm sorry, what? Is a tiny precinct. Actually, that's probably reasonable. Okay, so second district is right there. That's what I expected. Oops. It's okay. I'm trying to remember if this is Tuscaloosa. can I throw in one? That put me over, and just a little bit over, but that's decent. Third district is north of that. It doesn't actually extend all the way. Okay. Oh, that's in the same county. Whoopsies. Don't want to go too far north with that, yeah. Can I include that county? Methinks I can. Not entirely, though. Alright, what type of dream did you have, Robert Washington? But in all seriousness, that is actually a really good beer. But the problem is, in order to keep everybody happy, I think I'm going to have to extend this down, this direction. Puts me slightly over the top. I think what this is saying is that, yeah, it's going to be really difficult with where the population is shifted for the Democrats to keep their district in Alabama. That's fine. I'll kind of show you why. Though, at the same time, okay, 4... So actually what that means is I should do... Let me turn on the map colors and bring up the eraser. Go to 5, bring up the partisan line. I should actually do it like this. Go here and here. Oop, went over the population threshold. There we go. That's where we want to be. Now I can do 4 without having to worry too much. Now one of the other things I need to do is avoid screwing over Birmingham too much. And touch over, which is not ideal. There we go. 6 is, of course, in this area. Now, that doesn't really let me do what I want it to do. Basically, I'm going to be drawing this to avoid the Birmingham, well, basically the actual city of Birmingham proper. Which should, in theory, benefit, well, the Democrats might keep a district in this map simply by virtue of Birmingham being so large geographically. Or not geographically, but population-wise. There we go. And that's the other crazy thing, is if you actually look at this district, you can tell where population is shifted. Now, obviously, if I wanted to, I could split everything up, but I think it's a little bit more likely, oopsies, that they keep the map vaguely similar to where it currently sits. There we go. Four and 695. Okay. And as you can see, the rest of the map is pretty heavily Democratic. What did I miss? There we go. And if we switch to precinct, get rid of the precinct lines, that is what our district map looks like with 7 districts. And personally, I think this is pretty close to what we'll eventually wind up having. Though it really is not that difficult to get rid of the, well, Democratic district. With other data sets, we could maybe see something change, but as you can see, that doesn't matter. If Alabama has, say, the governor 27, not governor 2017, Senate 2017. So we're going to actually do Alabama again, but this time with 6 districts. And the logic behind that is basically saying, hey, Alabama might actually lose a district. So it makes some sense, to be entirely fair, to do it like this. And, well, we're going to do the districts in the same order. Turn on the partisan lean. And again, one of the things I'm going to try and do is keep everything vaguely close to where it actually is. Unfortunately, the 7th is going to have to be eaten into, so those are the areas that I'm going to start by eating into. And that is where the big problem lies, is that, well, basically where a lot of the people are, you wind up losing I think that's good. So you can see that district completely changes the oops, went way too far. Okay. Really, this county has that many people. Well, that's where they all are. Holy crap. Nope. trying to get as close as I can to the population threshold that there we go. And the third district will sit right here, basically. And actually, I could use it as an excuse to start eating into Birmingham. Trying to remember. There we go. And then we're going to do the 5th. Oops. I have to do it by county. It's off there. Oh, too many. All right. Okay, so I'm going to need to split the difference. So the 4th district it's too many. Is that at least? Okay, so rest. There we go. Get rid of that. Get rid of the precinct lines. And this is... no, because that part of the Voting Rights Act got nixed. And even if you could, by some miracle, set it up like that, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that and change it to that. Because of the way Alabama's geography is, and with the... I just don't see how you're going to get... I really don't see how you're going to get a situation where, with 6 districts... actually, yes, my goal will be to redistrict all 50 states. Well, every state that has redistricting. So, yeah. Whether it's possible is a different story altogether. Alaska, so I guess it's Arizona. Now, Arizona will almost certainly gain 1 district. I'm going to set the population to the correct one. And actually, it does not matter what data set we use, because we're not going to be turning on partisanship for the precincts. Why? Well, the long and the short story is that Arizona has what is known as an interesting. 2022 should be a Republican favorable year, yes. But Arizona has an independent commission, and they are supposed to take in both the concerns of the Republicans and Democrats from their proposals, basically. And the best part is they don't even have to keep the districts in their same geographic location, at least numerically speaking. So I'm not really going to bother with that. Though historically they have, so I probably should. But with states that are going to gain a district, no, I'm not really interested in that. So what I'm going to do is, well, if I turn this on, find Native American, exactly, this basically shows us where the major reservations are, right? And one of the concerns the Democrats are going to have is that they will suggest trying to link the reservations together. However, this kind of doesn't. I think this is kind of a little bit bad because it will put the Hopi and the Navajo, two slightly antagonistic groups, in the same district. Though with the way their reservations are linked together, it's maybe inevitable. Anyway, and I think it was poorly done that they were put together like that. And if I really wanted to, I could extend. But at the end of the day, I think it's actually a bad way to do that because it really shouldn't matter, right? It really should not matter. It really should not matter. So instead, I'm going to draw the map as I would recommend it, which is to follow existing geopolitical boundaries, as well as, well, reasonably keep the districts where they currently are. I know I've done an Arizona map, but that was, I think, with what, 15 districts? But see, the problem is this is basically almost exactly what this first district is as it stands. And as you can see, you're a lot of votes shy. You're a lot of people shy. So in order to keep things reasonably compact, which I would be doing, I'm going to be, well, trying to eliminate some of these jagged edges to the district border. Obviously, it's not 100% possible, but it is doable. I'd prefer not to go to Cochise County with this district, simply because, well, Cochise is kind of the anchor of the second district, right? So I just don't think it's that good of an idea to don't think it's that good of an idea should have I thought it would have fewer people. Okay. There we go, 42. That's perfect. One of the other things I'm going to do is I actually want to avoid Tucson. So I'm actually going to put in a city. No, that doesn't help at all. Basically, I'm going to try to avoid Tucson because the current map is favored more to create competitive districts. Right? And I don't like artificially competitive districts because that means you're basically gerrymandering in order to avoid, well, you're purposefully making the map in favor of the minority party in order to please them and give them a chance. It'd be like if Illinois was able to, like if they had an independent commission that said, yes, we must have as many competitive districts as possible. Where's the county line here? Okay. We're going to put that county there. And like I said, I'm trying to avoid leaking in Tucson too much, but it is kind of in. Shut up, Dave's Redistricting. My internet is actually holding on, which I'm very happy about. And actually, I'm getting a little bit hot. Jesus. Didn't actually think I'd say that on stream. And one or two more. Perfect. Now, actually, 3 was centered on 2. Was centered kind of in this area. So I'm going to put Tucson into one district. Well, that was a plan anyway. And we're going to do it by precinct to... Does that put me in the right ballpark? It does indeed. So we're going to lock that. Go to the 4th district. Which has historically been in this area. And the goal has basically been to avoid Phoenix with this. Not in order to make it favorable to one party or the other. More because I want to try and keep as much of Phoenix together as possible. Well, basically the heavily populated parts of Maricopa County. I just hope I don't accidentally embed any districts, because apparently I'm not supposed to have embedded districts, even though I absolutely would have embedded districts. Also, praise be to the gods of Chantel, the company I use, get my... Alright, let's at least try to make this, clean this all up. There we go, there we go. Oops. Must not embed. There we go. So yes, 6 of the 10 districts of Arizona are going to be here in Maricopa County. And in this tiny portion of Maricopa County. The only good news is that, unlike in a lot of other places, this district won't be, or Arizona precincts aren't absolute nightmares. We'll get to Ohio, and it's really the Midwest that pisses me off like this, right? Because, oh boy, do they have some janky, absolutely nightmarish precincts. Oh, perfect. Okay, 6 will cover Mason. What is that, Tempe? I mean, it is appalling. The precincts that they have. Like, they must be designed specifically to make everyone's life a living nightmare. And I do kind of get why some of those precincts are like that, at least from a political standpoint, but from a sanity standpoint, I think that whoever came up with that idea should be shot. Uh, and by the way, that really is a real that Baltica is a really good beer. All right, let's be careful. Okay, we're over the population threshold, so we're gonna stop there. All right. What is it? There we go. We're just gonna go here. I really should turn on the district lines just so I can freaking see. And there we go. Illinois. Specifically, I think it's Springfield, Illinois. There's a few other states with whack-ass precincts, but yeah, Ohio is definitely one of the champions, and it's specifically Columbus. And I'll talk about how I'm planning to redistrict that to screw over Columbus. Because when we get to that point, oh boy, am I going to have some fun talking about screwing over Columbus. Nope. That's going to be like too many. Yeah. Nope. Good lord. What do I have to... There we go. I'm going to say, what do I have to do? What, Arizona 1 and 4? I mean, yeah, it is kind of, well, cringeworthy to be quite honest with you, but I am perfectly okay with it, so. Oh well. And we'll actually see whether or not this winds up being a competitive map or anything, but I tried to be reasonably compact. But also, admittedly, the 4th was me trying to avoid super downtown Phoenix. And I may just make this the final precinct, or the final district in this area. This very central part. Whoops, went way overboard there, didn't I? Oh, too many people. Too many people. There we go. We're going to have a very tiny district here in Arizona, aren't we? Also, I do admit I have a fondness of following, continuous lines when doing these districts. So the next state's going to be Arkansas, which could be an interesting map, I'll be honest. Alrighty. Because Arkansas is also one of those southern states that's supposedly supposed to follow the Voting Rights Act by drawing a majority-minority district. And yet, no matter how you cut it, unless you go way overboard, there's no way you were going to draw a Democratic district in Arizona. Alright, so let's take a look. Now, remember, we are on the composite, so this is going to be slightly favorable to the Republicans. No, typically, that's actually a funny one. I actually know that song, Paul McCartney's "Too Many People." Though, to be fair, I'm not a big fan of the Beatles or there's some Paul McCartney stuff that I really like. I always screw this up. Let's do the map colors. Okay, so that's 4 district. I always mess this up. It literally doesn't change anything. It's just I always do that. Alright. So this is more Republican favorable, of course, because of the data set. So what we're going to do is we're going to show the governor 2018, which is very, very Republican. There's only 3 Democratic districts here. However, that's not exactly representative. If we flip it over to the Senate, this is actually still Republican favorable. Well, I say that, but there's 5 Democratic districts and 5 Republican ones. This is a competitive map. Flip it over to the AG, and yeah. Then we go to President 2016, and Senator 2016. Yeah, I mean, this was John McCain. What do you expect? The composite, of course. I suspect that these Maricopa County districts are going to be a lot more competitive, and this district is going to be very competitive. So, personally, I think this could actually please both sides. Truly. I'd say that Senator 2018 is probably a much more accurate depiction of the partisanship in Arizona, at least from the data sets that I have. Arizona shouldn't need to be held to the VRA. But let's go ahead and check the statistics. Why not? The 7th is compliant, and the 10th is damn near a majority-minority district. And actually, if I look at it, I mean, of course, that is with the current data set, but it is a very competitive map. Yeah, the problem is when you lock it, yeah. Alright, so we're going to go to maps, and we're going to go through as many as we want, except if we do reach California, I'm going to skip Cali because California can go suck a big fat one. Like, not even joking, California can eat my ass. I mean, I'm going to, just as kind of an experiment, show you just how difficult it is to draw a Democratic district in Arkansas. I'm not even sure what the most Democratic data set is. It's a good question. Okay, that was to be expected. It's a little bit more competitive. The composite, yeah, okay. Well, nope. That might be a good example. I'm going to go with the present 2008 just as kind of an example, right? By the way, if you want a high population area, Fayetteville is up in there. And I've actually lived in a place called Fayetteville. I'm going to switch it to partisan lean, and the first thing we're going to do, by the way, this is the Little Rock area. Right. Let's turn on the district lines. There we go. And I'm going to straight up say, you're going to see the problem we're going to wind up encountering here pretty quickly. And that is that Arkansas kind of just has not enough Democrats. And this map would almost certainly get thrown out. When I say this map, what I mean is this map won't get drawn. And if it somehow did, you would find so many challenges for partisan gerrymandering, racial gerrymandering, that it's just not worth it. I mean, as you can already tell, we've still got 500,000 people to find. I'm not sure we'll find them. Though we might. Because the Mississippi River, while definitely surrounded by a lot of rural communities, also has some populated areas. And the truth is, the rural areas in the South aren't as unpopulated as rural areas in some other places are. But I will be basically showing you what I mean, right? Because we're still a shockingly large 400,000 voters away. We've basically covered geographically damn near a quarter of the state. And remember, this is the most Democratic favorable data set for this state, as far as I can personally tell. So you can genuinely imagine how bad this is going to, do I need to go up further? Yeah, I guess I can. Exactly. I hate those disconnected, non-contiguous precincts. There you go. We're still, about half a district away. And as you can tell, we're running out of areas that are favorable to the Democrats to add. In order to get more, we're going to have to start adding in some very Republican areas. So as you can tell, it's kind of not good. So basically it's turning into what's the least Republican area that we can add. And it's not even really Little Rock. And I mean, we're still a long ways off from meeting the population threshold. Basically, if you want to see a Democratic district in Arkansas, it's not ideal. I mean, I'm genuinely at the point where I'm quite literally just going to be adding counties in. There we go, finally. And maybe I could have been a little bit more refined. But my point is just to show you how impractical it actually is to even attempt to draw a Democratic district in Arkansas. There you go. Right, so that would be one district, right? Let's show you what it turns into on President. Oh, okay, President 2016, very slightly favorable. Okay. The composite, okay. Well, I genuinely thought this would be a red district, but, well, under the governor one, it definitely is. I'm going to do as many as I feel like doing. Basically, I don't know, we'll get to 10 or 10:30 and I'll determine whether or not I still feel like it. So instead I'm going to switch to composite and I'm going to draw districts that I feel are more accurate to what might actually get done. I'll throw in a little bit of Little Rock. You know, 2nd District. May as well throw in the rest. Of Little Rock. Second District. Oop. Too many people. I went overboard. There we go. 3rd District. Didn't really think that through, but problem solved. Yeah, I figured Fayetteville would do that. By the way, Fayetteville, Arkansas is where Walmart is based. The worst company in human history. Yeah, by the way, I really don't like Walmart. And it's not necessarily because I think they're... I don't know. I have my own personal reasons for not liking Walmart. There you go. Turn that off. Turn that off. There we go. Personally, I don't think that's an unreasonable map. And you're going to see this, by the way, with a lot of southern states. And that is that they don't really swing that much from data set to data set. There we go. And the reason for that is, well, it's complicated. It is complicated. Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up and reading all that stuff. I prefer. That's. I don't know. I like hot dogs, and I also like hamburgers. And by the way, if you're new to this channel, like, a comment, and a subscription. They're greatly appreciated. California can go suck. No, we're going to do California. And fun fact, California will almost certainly still have 53 districts. And here's a real crazy one. California, the Democrats are not in control of redistricting. They have an independent commission. So, I can be solely concerned about population as well as, well, doing what I'd like to do, which is avoid County splits where possible. Nope, that puts me over. Smooth out that gap. And whether or not I'm able to finish this on stream and is a different story altogether. My goal is to finish California, and I think this is probably going to wind up being the last state I do today, simply because of how many districts California winds up having. Because it's 53, and I... Oh, shut up. There we go. There we go. We are closer. California is a nightmare. I can't stand the state 95% of the time. It's probably closer to 100% of the time. I really just don't like California. And I know I've pissed off everybody from California by saying that, but listen. The state has, well, it's just not a good state. Come on, man. If I hadn't just, pounded a half-liter of beer, maybe I could give a real reason. Yep. I still remember the Second Amendment sanctuary counties. We'll see whether... Well, the truth is most of them were resolutions, which don't have the same weight as an ordinance would. Go. Oop. Bad idea. But yeah, the Second Amendment sanctuary thing, personally, I am in favor of the idea. For, well, a lot of reasons. It's the best idea going forward with this district. I'd say that's true, but if you've seen HR 127, I'm sorry, you cannot say the Dems don't want to take away everybody's guns with a straight face anymore. HR 127 is, well, to say it's maniacally stupid is an understatement. There are certain insults I would normally consider using, but personally, even the people who would be offended by those jokes, they're not that stupid. H.R. 127 is quite possibly the worst bill ever filed, at least in the U.S. House. There are some things that have been filed by various governments in the United States that certainly are worse than that, but it is bordering on the stupidity that led to secession. That is how stupid the bill is. And I don't think you can claim with a straight face anymore that Democrats aren't really trying to take away your guns. Because I have actually met people in my town who think that H.R. 127 is a good idea and is enforceable. And to the people who actually think that, well, I am terribly sorry about that. But it just is not a realistic bill. It is not. And here's the thing. I'll take back some of that statement if it dies in committee. Which I hope it does, but I have a really bad feeling it's going to make it to the floor. Again, I'm going to bring up H.R. 127 because that is truly a monstrous bill. And when I say that, I mean it's like it is horrifying to behold. It's a H.R. 127 is a totalitarian's wet dream. I mean, you can say whatever you want about it being, modern and just about licensing life, basically. Or you're going to just not comply, and if you get caught by someone who actually wants to enforce the bill, be a felon for life. I mean, it really is that stupid. Like, I'd say that let me put it this way. As a bill, it is stupider than the Green New Deal. And the fact that that's a comment that can be said with a straight face should terrify everyone. Exactly. The problem is enforcement. And I don't know of anyone who will want to enforce it, let alone have the ability to enforce it. Well, okay, I say that, but there's plenty of people who will want to enforce it. Having the ability to enforce it is a totally different matter. It's just like prohibition. I'm trying to avoid going too off the rails here, but I genuinely don't see the point in arguing that that's not the direction that the Democratic Party is going to go down. If they're not already on the we don't need, our citizens don't need guns route, I'm struggling to say that, it's, they just want to make sure that, certain dangerous weapons are out of the hands. No, they want to install a licensing and requirement for owning a fucking hunting gun, you know. They want to require a permit to get fucking ammo so that I can go hunt. How is that supposed to keep people safe? Right? Listen, I want crime to be, you know, prevented as much as the next person. I genuinely do. And I will support, you know, intelligent means of doing it. But gun control just is not an intelligent means of doing it. You're going to find out the very hard way if you implement it that in the United States, it's going to wind up just like prohibition, completely unenforceable, and it's going to cause far more problems than it'll solve. And the problem is the people who support it are too stupid to understand that. You know, they use that same argument for why we can't, you know, enforce the war on drugs and why we're losing the war on drugs. And yet their heads are so far up their ass, they don't understand that gun control is going to lead to the exact same situation. Americans don't like being told what to do. The more you tell someone in this country what to do, the less they want to do it. And, you know, I say this not just as not even as a gun owner, I just say this as a historian. Banning things in America just hasn't ever worked. So why is it going to work now? As a gun owner, I'm just straight up saying this. I will refuse to comply with any gun control. I just straight up am saying that. And if these words are going to be used against me, then so fucking be it. But I'll be in the cold ground before I obey any unconstitutional and any immoral gun control laws. No, they're idiots who support it because they're idiots who think that it's a good bill. I guarantee you Michael Bloomberg thinks it's a good bill, and Michael Bloomberg can sit on a sandpaper-covered dildo. Okay, we're nearing up. All right. Hey, a county that wasn't too big. Oh, that's funny. Finally. By the way, I'm going to wind up upsetting a few people because the California Islands are split up into a few districts, I think. And yet at the same time, I'm also I'm going to put them into the same district because it irritates me that they're in separate districts. It really irritates me that they're in separate districts. Alrighty. Oh my freaking god. Trying to avoid and talk about the areas where there's, you know, this is why I didn't want to do California tonight. Is because it's just too freaking gigantic. I may get to like district, 10 districts in and say, you know what, no, I'm done with this crap. I really do hate California that much. Okay, there we go. Yeah, see what I mean? So if I'm going to put all of these in the same district, I'm going to have it be a little bit further north, so I can't do that. Okay. Instead, I'm going to bring out the special tools. No, dang it. I went way overboard there, didn't I? There we go. But as you can see, I don't like California. I think LTE is. I'm not really in the. I'm not going to talk about other YouTubers too much, simply because I don't think it's a very productive channel of discussion. Mostly because I think all it does is it leads to people trying to stir up drama. He's a very good person. I've been on his streams a few times. Yeah. But, I don't understand why people think that restricting or banning guns is going to reduce crime. Because nowhere has it ever done that. People are going to say, no, every study says it reduces gun crime. I wasn't talking about gun crime. I was talking about all crimes. Or did you not hear me? It is irritating when people then, try to say, well, then you're just being stupid when I bring that up as an argument. Because I don't think it's, a smart thing to separate different categories, of violent crime and say, oh, well, these crimes don't matter because they weren't committed with guns. And I'm going to say, no, it's kind of proof that your idea doesn't work, because people still kill people even without guns. Did murder not exist? Did mass killings not exist before firearms were invented? Because the way you hear some of these people talk about, their plans, you would think they would believe that. the way they believe that gun control is a panacea for violent crime, you would honestly think that they genuinely believe that there was no violence before the invention of guns. Or that you need a firearm to commit a mass killing. I'm sorry. With some basic knowledge of chemistry and the ability to rent a truck, you can kill more people in 10 seconds than you can kill in 30 minutes with a firearm. So, no, gun control is not going to stop mass killings to anyone with the smallest brain in the world. So let's talk about actual ways to reduce crime, which is going to start with improving our mental health care system. And that's a story that is going to, it's going to say, well, then why don't you support left-wing economic policies? And I'm going to say, well, because I don't think you can solve an issue simply by throwing money at it, especially not by throwing other people's money at it. The way to, also solving our education, fixing our education system, making it better, and also improving the socioeconomic status of the American people. There is a definite link between crime rates and poverty. So we should acknowledge that and figure out, okay, well, how do we reduce poverty? Some will say, increase the minimum wage. Others will say, well, no, we need to get more people working, But if the idea of the war on drugs, for example, was to stop people from doing drugs, well, then it failed miserably. No, actually, I want this brush to be like this. Actually, one can make a reasonable argument that the war on drugs has made just about everything worse. Go. We'll see how many districts I feel in. Third positionism. Well, I do agree with that part. I support the legalization of marijuana. I actually really like the law that, what was the state that did it? Was it... I want to say it was Oregon. I do actually support the law that they passed by referendum to at least decriminalize basically every drug. As a matter of fact, I think it actually was every drug. I think that was a very good idea. Because that sort of thing should be treated as a public health issue rather than a criminal justice issue. Because you don't really help drug addicts by sending them to prison. And I think there's... But that said, they still are maintaining that... selling is still going to be illegal. I'm not sure that's going to help with crime as much as some people are going to think. Um, could be wrong, but then again, they're at least trying something different than what has been tried and what is proven to fail recently. So, uh, credit where credit's due. They're at least making an attempt to uh, change the system. God, only 12 districts in. Still have 40 to go. I'm probably going to stop this map at some point. Because there's only so much of this I can take in terms of just drawing frickin' California. I'll probably resume this next week now that it turns out I can live stream. And honestly, once I finish California, it'll be a little bit better for everybody. Also, good lord. Yeah, I'm gonna pause for here. Oh no, Frisky Island. I can be batshit insane regarding certain things that I'm very passionate about. But thank you very much. I'm trying to remember what third positionism is. I think, if I remember correctly, that is kind of just a new wave sort of thing. But I am probably going to end the stream here just because I am a little bit sleepy and I've been streaming for an hour and a half now. And that beer was a little bit stronger than I anticipated it being, which it happens. The map is saved. We'll resume this next week, finish this out, and at least I'm not an insurrectionist. Anyway, I'm going to say take it easy. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see y'all next time. Have a very lovely evening. I'm going to go watch the snow fall down during this winter storm. Take it easy, bye. Take it easy, y'all.